Maybe, just like me, you've been playing a beatload of Pokemon and Donkey Kong Bonanza on your Switch 2. I have been used so much to having third-party, super good quality Joy-Cons on the Switch 1, and we don't have that kind of luxury with the Switch 2. And I'll tell you exactly why I believe sometime in early 2026, we'll have our first ever third-party Joy-Cons. Mobapad, makers of the M6 HD Joy-Cons that pretty much everyone agrees are absolute endgames for the Switch 1, which are these guys. They're just so comfortable. You have micro switches, you have extra buttons in the back, a super awesome ergonomic grip, great sticks. It has amiibo reading, HD rumble. It's not missing out for anything. Not having that kind of luxury on the Switch 2 sucks. And a couple of weeks ago, I showed you a product aimed to address at least part of the issues that we have. The C70 adapters, which are for all intents and purposes just a connection rail. It'll allow you to connect your Joy-Cons. Now that you know that that's a thing, maybe you did, maybe you didn't, I'll put that aside in a second. And let's talk about the 3 obstacles that cracking Joy-Cons for the Switch 1 being brought into the Switch 2 have. Number 1 is the C button. Number 2 is the wake up function. And number 3 is having a direct connection. And technically speaking, it's the only one that still hasn't been cracked. So with the C button, we'll keep it very simple. I have a video of the Easy SMX S10 that has a C button, and I'm working on a future video of another telescopic controller from LeeJoy, the Blade Plus, that also has a C button that does the exact same thing. It's essentially a fake macro button that brings you to the C button value, because having a C button like Nintendo has at this point in time is impossible. Is it a code being cracked fully? No, but I do believe that the solution that we're seeing is kind of good enough until something better comes along. The second one is the wake up function. And if you don't know, Goalie Kit was the first to bring a controller to market, and what they do is super clever. The controller has the ability to sniff the Bluetooth signal of a Joy-Con connecting to the Switch 2. It will sniff that signal, it will apply it as its own, and be able to wake up your Switch 2. So clever. The Mobapad M6 HD have a firmware update that allows them to do the exact same thing. And so that's the second code being cracked that we can now see in Joy-Cons. As far as I know, I haven't heard of any other Nintendo Switch 1 Joy-Cons that can do that. And in fact, I don't even know if Mobapad marketed it at all. I just found out because I was about to talk about a completely different product, and by mistake, I found out that this was a thing. You can now wake up your Switch 2 with the M6 HD. That's a pretty major code also being cracked. And like I said, as far as I know, the first Joy-Cons to ever do that, other than Nintendo's first party, of course. And then the third code, and so exciting to have received this product, the C70, the big problem with them, and it'll make sense in a second while I'm talking about this, is while it gives you something to physically be held onto the Switch 2, what it doesn't have is any form of connection. There are no ways to connect to these pins right here to be able to supply power and or data. And so what happens is, while yes, you can connect your Nintendo Switch 1 Joy-Cons physically or your M6 HD, eventually you're gonna run out of battery, and then you're gonna have to find a way to separately charge these Joy-Cons, either by plugging them on a Switch 1, or if you have other means like a stand that can accept these Joy-Cons, that would be another way. It addresses a problem, but then it also causes a new one. Well, Mobapad just sent me their C70 Pro, and that's their latest model of the rails that I just showed you. They do have some type of connection. It seems to be the exact same product. I mean, it has the same magnet push pin here at the top. It has the 2 magnets to hold on to the Switch 2. But the big difference with the new models is that you'll notice that this time around, it's no longer this big empty opening gap. There's actually connections in there. And what we'll do is we'll go into the controller, and this is important because I do want to give you the right expectations. If I am to connect this controller, here's what happens. Nothing. The connection that exists here is not data based, it is power based. As long as it is connected using the C70 Pro, you're never gonna run out of battery. Of course, as long as your Switch 2 has batteries to charge the Joy-Cons, but now it can. And the fact that it does changes the entire game. And just like that, if I connect it and I power it, you'll see now that I have an icon that shows that it's charging. This is the previous model. I'm gonna connect it. It's the older model. does not have a connection. So let me go ahead and change it to the new model this time around. You can see that we have the charging icon. Code cracked. And look, don't get me wrong, would I like to have something that also has a direct data connection? Absolutely. Oh, that will not stop me from having so much needed better third-party Joy-Cons for the Switch 2. Something that gives me a better ergonomic style, better sticks, better triggers, better buttons, that retains the HD rumble, retains the amiibo functions, and also that retains the ability to wake up your Switch. Even though I have installed the M6 HE, or rather I have paired the M6 HE with the Switch 2 before, and I have the latest firmware, it's still not gonna wake up the Switch 2. We're gonna wait for those lights to go off, and you really want to follow step by step exactly what I do so that you can get the wake up function on your Joy-Con. Now, once the lights are closed, your Switch 2 being closed, and with first-party Joy-Cons connected to the Switch 2, you want to power it. And now you want to go to where you synchronize or pair your controllers, right here. And we want to do change grip order. And even though it's been synchronized before, we still want to synchronize them again. So I'm just going to hold the left one. Doesn't matter which order, but I'm going to start with it. We hold the little button to pair. We're going to do the exact same thing with the right one. And with now both Joy-Cons being paired, we're going to go ahead and hit the L and R. We want to go back, and you have 20 seconds to do this. So you want to be efficient. What you want to do here is just disconnect the right Joy-Con, and you'll see a prompt for the connection. Once you see that prompt, you're good to reconnect it. Put it down, grab your Mobapad Joy-Cons, make sure everything works. Perfect. We can now close the Switch 2. And from now going forward, as long as you push the home button, it should open up your Switch 2. Now, this may take a couple of seconds. Sometimes it's going to take 1 second, sometimes it's going to be immediate, sometimes it's going to take 2 seconds. Is it a perfect solution? No, it's not. But it is effectively everything we need to have something that is connected to your Switch 2 at all times and be able to operate your Switch 2 at full capacity. You're not missing out on anything. In fact, you're having more features, seeing that you have the extra buttons, much like you would with the Switch Pro 2 controller, but this time you have them on Joy-Cons. So if you want to run your macros for your shiny Pokemon hunting, you can do all that with these Joy-Cons as well. The reality is, we might never get third-party Joy-Cons like we have with the Switch 1 because Nintendo's source code was literally stolen. For that to happen again is unlikely. I guess not impossible. It's not something I'm wishing on Nintendo either. It's just a logic observation, right? I don't think the odds of that happening twice is likely. With that in mind, the next best thing is by having a powered connection and leveraging Bluetooth, we're able to have fully functional Joy-Cons for the Switch 2. All that's missing is for a revision that takes away from the rail and has something like a C70 Pro that is fully integrated into the controller that can just connect magnetically to the Switch, be able to wake it up, be able to be getting power from the Switch 2. But if you don't want to wait for that solution, maybe you already have the M6 HDs, maybe you have other Joy-Cons that you'd rather use, get the C70 Pro, and you're basically all the way there minus the C button. That's the one thing that we don't have. We do retain a lot of features, even improve on some of them, like having Hall effect sticks, like having extra buttons, turbo, macro function, all these good things that can ultimately make your experience more pleasant. For me, it's the ergonomics. It's how much better that it is to hold the Switch 2 with these Joy-Cons. I no longer have to worry about battery life because it's always going to get charged using the C70 Pro. And you can still dock that solution, no problems. So you're not missing out on that as well. If you want to leave that connected for pretty much all the time, you're good. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comment box. Man, I'm so excited. We are getting so close. Mobapad, you have convinced me to be probably the best maker in the world of Joy-Cons. Please cook. Please take your time. Do it right. I would love to see something that has the height of a Switch 2 and that retains all the features that the M6 HD has. In fact, maybe even build upon those. And yeah, I'm excited. All right. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.